Tiny Changes, Remarkable Results, Atomic Habits, book by James Clear. 3 layers of behavior change. The first layer is changing your outcomes. This level is concerned with changing your results. Losing weight, publishing a book, winning a championship. Most of the goals you set are associated with this level of change. The second layer is changing your process. This level is concerned with changing your habits and systems. Implementing a new routine at the gym, decorating your desk for better workflow, developing meditation practice. Most of the habits you build are associated with this level. The third and deepest layer is changing your identity. This level is concerned with changing your beliefs, your worldview, your self-image, your judgments about yourself and others. Most of the beliefs, assumptions, and bias you hold are associated with this level. Outcomes are about what you get. Process are about what you do. Identity is about what you believe. When it comes to building habits that last, when it comes to building a system of 1% improvements, the problem is not that one level is better or worse than another. All levels of change are useful in their own way. The problem is the direction of change. Many people begin the process of changing their habits by focusing on what they want to achieve. This leads us to outcome-based habits. The alternative is to build identity-based habits. With this approach, we start by focusing on who we wish to become. Outcome-based habits. Identity-based habits. Imagine 2 people resisting a cigarette. When offered a smoke, the first person says, "No thanks, I am trying to quit." It sounds like a reasonable response, but this person still believes they are a smoker who is trying to be something else. They are hoping their behavior will change while carrying around the same beliefs. The second person declines by saying, "No thanks, I am not a smoker." It's a small difference, but this statement signals a shift in identity. Smoking was a part of their former life, not their current one. They no longer identify as someone who smokes. Most people don't even consider identity change when they set out to improve. They just think, "I want to be skinny." Outcome, and if I stick to this diet, then I will be skinny. Process. They set goals and determine the actions they should take to achieve these goals without considering the beliefs that drive their action. They never shift the way they look at themselves. And they don't realize that their old identity can sabotage their new plans for change. Behind every system of actions are a system of beliefs. The system of a democracy is founded on beliefs like a freedom, majority rule, and social equality. The system of a dictatorship has a very different set of beliefs like absolute authority and strict obedience. You can imagine many ways to try get more people to vote in a democracy, but such behavior change would never get off the ground in a dictatorship. That's not the identity of system. Voting is a behavior that is impossible under a certain set of beliefs. A similar pattern exists whether we are discussing individuals, organizations, or societies. There are a set of beliefs and assumptions that shape the system and identity behind the habits. Behavior that is incongruent with the self will not last. You may want more money, but if your identity is someone who consumes rather than creates, then you will continue to be pulled toward spending rather than earning. You may want better health, but if you continue to prioritize comfort over accomplishment, you will be drawn to relaxing rather than training. It's hard to change your habits if you never change the underlying beliefs that led to your past behavior. You have a new goal and new plan, but you haven't changed who you are. The story of Brian Clark, an entrepreneur from Boulder, Colorado, provides a good example. For as long as I can remember, I have chewed my fingernails. Clark told me it started as a nervous habit when I was young and then morphed into an undesirable grooming ritual. One day, I resolved to stop chewing my nails until they grew out a bit. Through mindful willpower alone, I managed to do it. Then Clark did something surprising. I asked my wife to schedule my first ever manicure. He said my thought was that if I started playing to maintain my nails, I wouldn't chew them. And it worked, but not for the monetary reason. What happened was the manicure made my fingers look really nice for the first time. The manicurist even said that other than the chewing, I had really healthy, attractive nails. Suddenly, I was proud of my fingernails, and even though that's something I had never aspired to, it made all the difference. I have never chewed my nails since, not even a single close call, and it is because I now take a pride in properly caring for them. The ultimate form of intrinsic motivation is when a habit becomes part of your identity. It is one thing to say, I am the type of person who wants this. It's something very different to say, I am the type of person who is this. The more pride you have in a particular aspect of your identity, the more motivated you will be to maintain the habits associated with it. If you are proud of how your hair looks, you will develop all sorts of habits to care for and maintain it. If you are proud of the size of your biceps, you will make sure you never skip an upper body workout. If you are proud of the scarves you knit, you will be more likely to spend hours knitting each week. Once your pride gets involved, you will fight tooth and nail maintain your habits. True behavior change is identity change. You might start a habit because of motivation, but the only reason you will stick with one is that it becomes part of your identity. Anyone can convince themselves to visit the gym or eat healthy once or twice, but if you don't shift the belief behind the behavior, then it is hard to stick with long-term changes. Improvements are only temporary until they become part of who you are. The goal is not to read a book. The goal is become a reader. The goal is not to run a marathon. The goal is to become a runner. The goal is not to learn the instrument. The goal is to become a musician. Your behaviors are usually a reflection of your identity. What you do is an indication of the type of person you believe that you are, either consciously or non-consciously. Research has shown that once a person believes a particular aspect of their identity, they are more likely to act in alignment with that belief. For example, people who identify as being a voter were more likely to vote than those who simply claimed voting was an action they wanted to perform. Similarly, the person who incorporate exercise into their identity doesn't have to convince themselves to train. Doing the right thing is easy. After all, when your behavior and your identity are fully aligned, you are no longer pursuing behavior change. You are simply acting like the type of person you already believe yourself to be. Like all aspects of habit formation, this too is double-edged sword. When working for you, identity change can be a powerful force for self-improvement. When working against you, though, identity change can be a curse. Once you have adopted an identity, it can be easy to let your alliance to it impact your ability to change. Many people walk through life in a cognitive slumber, blindly following the norms attached to their identity. I am a terrible with direction. I am not a good morning person. I am a bad remembering people's names. I am always late. I am not good with technology. I am horrible at math. And thousands other variations. When you have repeated a story to yourself for years, it is easy to slide into these mental grooves and accept them as a fact. In time, you begin to resist certain action because that is not who I am. There is internal pressure to maintain yourself, imagine, and behave in a way that is consistent with your beliefs. You find whatever way you can do avoid contradicting yourself. The more deeply a thought or action is tied to your identity, the more difficult it is to change it. It can feel comfortable to believe what your culture believes, group identity, or to do what upholds your self-imagined personal identity, even if it's wrong. The biggest barrier to positive change at any level, individual, team, society, is identity conflict. Good habits can make rational sense, but if they conflict with your identity, you will fail put them into action. On any given day, you may struggle with your habits because you are too busy or too tired or too overwhelmed or hundreds of other reasons. Over the long run, however, the real reason you fail to stick with habits is that your self-imagine gets in the way. This is why you can't too attach to one version of your identity. Progress requires unlearning. Becoming the best version of yourself requires you to continuously edit your beliefs and to upgrade and expand your identity. This brings us to an important question. If your beliefs and worldview play such an important role in your behavior, where do they come from in the first place? How exactly is your identity formed? And how can you emphasize new aspects of your identity that serve you and gradually erase the pieces that hinder you? Thank you.